Hi, in Screencast 5 I want to look at differentiation strategy in the sportswear industry. So what are major brands like Nike, Adidas and Under Armour doing in order to pursue their differentiation strategies? This is actually quite a short screencast. I'm going to show you on the next slide the value chain for Nike. And then after that I'm going to ask you to view the videos and read the short newspaper articles which I have put in the week 3 workbook. So here we have another way of looking at the value chain. So this is an example of Nike's value chain. So here you see we have the support activities, yeah? So support activities, yeah? And here we have the kind of customer facing activities. Right, so let's just think, I'm not going to talk about each of these because Nike has developed and focuses on specific areas of the value chain. Now, what we need to understand about the value chain is that all businesses need to complete all of these value creation activities to produce its goods or services. But certain activities will be more important for some businesses than others. And it's these important areas in which a business tries to develop its strategic resources, which give it core competencies to be able to do things better than other organisations, to have competitive advantage through its business level strategy. So Nike's business level strategy is that of a differentiator, right? So how does Nike achieve differentiation? Well, the things I want to point out to you in this value chain, and then I'd like you to look at and try to recognise in the videos that are in the week 3 workbook, are these things. So technological development. The research and development function at Nike is very important. It has a track record of developing Nike Air, Nike Plus, collaborations with Apple. Yeah? It has a very, very large research and development centre at its headquarters in Beaverton, Oregon, in Portland, in the USA. Right? So Nike spends a very high proportion of its turnover on research and development. It also takes out a large number of patents on the technology it invents and discovers. It even takes out patents on technology it doesn't use in its products. And it does this to kind of give it an advantage through stopping other competitors using similar technology. Okay, so research and development is really, really important for Nike. Now, it's worth talking about operations. Operations for Nike means how do they make their clothes, their shoes, their equipment? Well, Nike does not make it. It is outsourced. Outsourcing means the organisation pays another company to do this activity for it. So Nike doesn't own the factories that make its products. It has outsourced manufacturing to factories in lower wage economies in the East. Okay. Now, Nike were the first people, the first business to begin doing this back in the 1980s. But the issue is if we think about Vrio, it's quite easy to copy. So now Adidas, Puma, New Balance, Under Armour, most of these major competitors also undertake strategic outsourcing. So although Nike reduced their costs this way, so does all its competitors. So this is not a source of advantage. Yeah. The next major source of advantage for Nike is in its marketing and sales. Nike is a £30 billion plus organisation, right? It spends 10% of its turnover on marketing and advertising and sponsorship. So it has huge resources to spend. So it has resources, it has strength in marketing resources to spend. It also has a very strong brand identity, which it has developed over the years through sponsorship and collaboration with sporting stars, but also events and so on. So it has developed a very, very strong, very strong brand image. So for me, the two key areas which give Nike its competitive advantage in differentiation are technological development and research and development, and the resources and the skills that it has there, and also in marketing and sales in terms of the budget it has for marketing and the brand image that it has. The other thing that Nike would say about itself is it is an innovation company. So what Nike says about itself, it doesn't say we are a sports company, it says we are an innovation company. So a bit like Apple. Apple says we're about innovation rather than we're about phones and computers. They actually say we're about innovation. So Nike puts a huge importance on having competencies in innovation, and really trying to kind of develop new products which are kind of different and cutting edge. So I'm going to start off by just saying, Nike was the first organisation really to move sport into the kind of data age when it collaborated with Apple to develop kind of Nike Plus, which linked Nike shoes to iPods to enable people to capture information about their exercise and their training. So really this was kind of sat-navs and wearable technology before they became more broadly available in the industry. Now, there are several videos for you to watch now before you move on to the final screencast, and a number of articles for you to read. They are only short articles and they are only short videos. So the videos are 1 to 3 minutes long, 5 minutes at the most. The newspaper articles might take you a little bit longer to read, but they're all hyperlinked and online, so you could copy and paste the text into a translator like Google Translate if you want to translate them into Cantonese so that you can read them more quickly and understand them better. But as you look at the videos and you read the articles, I'd like you to think, okay, how is technology and innovation important in the sportswear industry? How has that become an important source of strength, an important part of the differentiation business level strategy? What examples can you think of? And also, how is technology changing the way that the business will operate? So Nike and Under Armour and Adidas are all thinking about changing their value chain activities as a result of things like 3D printing and AI, artificial intelligence. So I'd like you to watch the videos and try to make some notes on what strengths Nike has developed. Also, when you read the articles, you will see that Nike moved into wearable technologies. And I'd like you to read the article and think, how successful has Nike been in that? Did it really have core competence in those areas? Were its resources and competencies truly, did they truly match up to the Vrio criteria. And remember, Vrio says that for a resource or a competency to be a source of competitive advantage, it's got to be valuable, it's got to be rare, it's got to be difficult to imitate. Okay, so think about those things and whether Google or Apple were able to develop wearable technology which actually replaced Nike's Fuel Band, another wearable technology in the industry. So that's the end of Screencast 5. So now please spend some time watching the videos which are embedded in the week 3 workbook and reading the articles.